Hi, I'm Mrs. Burns and welcome to Lesson 2 of our Chapter 7 unit on volume. We already know the formula for calculating volume, and that is V equals area of the base, so area of the base times the height of our 3D object. So remember that the base is a special part of that 3D object, and the type of prism is really defined by its base. So a triangular prism has a triangular base. The rectangular prism has a rectangular base, and a square is included as a rectangle, and a cylinder has a circular base. All right, we can use what we know about surface area to determine the volume of a 3D object when we're only given the dimensions. So if you're only given the information about the length times width times height, we can still figure out what the volume is. Here's our first example. Matthias is camping in a tent that is 4 meters long, 3 meters wide, and 2 meters high. What's the volume of his tent? Well, we could draw this 3D tent. We have our little triangular tent. This is 3 meters long, 4 meters long, 3 meters wide, and here it's 2 meters high. So we first need to figure out the area of the base, and that would be a triangle. So even though it looks like this tent, that the bottom would be the rectangle part, it's actually, the bottom is our triangle, or the base of this prism is the triangle part, because the triangle is what makes that a triangular prism, not the rectangle part. So the area of the base, we want to figure out the area of the triangle, and we already know this. The area of a triangle equals base times height divided by 2. So our base is 3 and our height is 2 divided by 2. This is 6 over 2, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So 3 meters squared is the area of our base. And now step 2, the volume is the area of the base times height. So we already know the area of the base is 3 meters squared. And then now this is confusing because we talked about 4 being the length, but because our triangle is the base, we can even just think about flipping that upside down, or I guess sideways. So that triangular opening to the tent is the base, and if we flip that to the bottom, that 4, that length, has now become the height. So this is 4 meters squared. 3 times 4 is 12, or sorry, this was not meters squared, it was just meters. 4 meters is 12 meters cubed. So there's the volume of Matthias's tent. Example 2, Cindy has a desk drawer measuring 65 centimeters long, 40 centimeters wide, and 25 centimeters tall. If it's 1/3 full of her secret candy stash, how much more space is there for her to fill with more candy? Well, let's first draw her drawer. Here we go. And here's a little handle. There we go. So this is 65 centimeters long, it's 40 centimeters wide, and it is 25 centimeters tall. So number 1, we need to figure out the total volume, and that is area of the base times height, and we can figure out the area of the base would be length times width. And it doesn't matter really which base we choose for a rectangle, because we're going to just times them all together. 40 centimeters times 65 centimeters. And this is times our height of 25 centimeters. So if we multiply all these together, we're going to get 65,000 centimeters cubed. Now that's a lot of centimeters cubed, so let's say this instead as meters. We know that there are 100 centimeters per 1 meter. So we're just going to move the decimal place over to the left twice, and that gives us 650 meters cubed. So I like that answer better because it's not as big of a number. So that's the total volume of her whole desk drawer. But we learned here that Cindy already has 1/3 of that filled with candy. So we can do one of 2 ways to figure out what the following volume is, what the remaining volume is. So let's do it this way, and then if you can figure out the second way, we'll talk about it in class tomorrow. So the first way, I would say we'll figure out how much 1/3 full is, and then minus the whole drawer minus the 1/3 fullness to get the rest. But this way we know that if you have 1/3 full, that 2/3 is still remaining. So 2/3 empty, space still. So we could figure out what 2/3 is. Well, 2/3 of 650 meters cubed is the same as saying 2/3 times 650, and that would give us an answer of meters cubed, and that would give us an answer of 433 meters cubed. All right, there is the answer. So she still has 433 meters cubed of, that's the volume she has to still fill her drawer up with more candy. All right, I hope you have lots of questions that you can come to class with tomorrow as we dive into this a little bit more.